Hello, good morning and welcome back to Adventures in Autism, and what a glorious morning it is. So today we're going to be exploring a section of rugged coastline here in South Devon which has remained unchanged for hundreds of years. Our destination is a remote and beautiful beach in an area of outstanding natural beauty which backs onto an area of marshland which is a natural haven for all kinds of wildlife. The route we'll be taking has some big steep hills with narrow winding paths through an ancient and mysterious woodland with no shortage of spectacular scenery. We're out with my son George. He's 4 years old, he's on the autistic spectrum and suspected to have ADHD. So we've got about 3 hours till we've got to be back for lunch. So let's see if we can get there and have some fun along the way. Anyway, let's go. So right now we're on the Southwest Coastal Path, which is England's longest footpath, and it stretches for 630 miles, running from Minehead in Somerset along the coast of Devon and Cornwall to Poole Harbour in Dorset. So from where we are, it's about 160 miles that way and about 470 miles that way. They were originally carved out in the 1800s so the Coast Guard could walk from lighthouse to lighthouse, patrolling the coastline for smugglers. This is why the path runs so close to the edge of the cliffs, so they could look down and meticulously search every beach and cove of the coastline. Whenever I'm walking the coastal path, I find myself imagining what it must have been like back then. Anyway, let's keep going. So while we're walking, I thought I'd tell you a bit more about us and who we are. I'm James and my fiancée is Amy, and we're the proud parents of our 5 wonderful children, James, George, Thomas, Daisy and Poppy. If you follow our channel, then you'll have seen most of them in our videos already. James, George, Thomas and Daisy are all on the autistic spectrum, and our youngest daughter Poppy is 13 months old, so just at the stage where autism symptoms can start to appear. But obviously there's a high chance, as all of our siblings are on the spectrum. Oh, these hills! So we've just reached the highest point of our journey, which is about 250 metres above sea level. And I don't know if the camera's going to do it justice, but the scenery here is absolutely spectacular. So hopefully just around this next corner we should get our first proper look at the beach. Come on! Go! There it is. So close. Oh, we're off. So this week we received an autism diagnosis for our 2 sons, George and Thomas, through the new system called First Steps, which is a pilot project started in Torbay in South Devon to help diagnose children with autism earlier. The waiting list for the usual autism assessment is 145 weeks, so the system was brought in to help speed things up. The process for George and Thomas took around a year, which is obviously a lot better. So I thought, as we're at the end of our diagnosis journey with them, it would be fitting to go back to the start and talk about some early signs and symptoms of autism. So usually autism starts to appear from around a year old, which are things like starting to develop repetitive behaviours like hand flapping, rocking, lining up toys and rewinding certain parts of videos and watching them over and over again. I will add, these can all be normal behaviours, but it's when they become repetitive and almost obsessive they may be considered an autism trait. Another one is lack of eye contact. We found in our children they go from being fascinated and want to look at you all the time. It's almost seeming like they've lost interest and even difficult to get their attention. There are other things like not responding to their name, not hitting their milestones and losing skills they previously had. There are a lot more signs and symptoms, but these are just some from our personal experience.
Careful. 3, 2, 1.
So that's us about done now. We're just going to take the long walk home. As always, I hope you've enjoyed joining us. I hope you found it interesting. If you like these kind of videos, a like and subscribe really would mean the world to us. Anyway, thanks a lot. Cheers. I just want to add a special thank you to the lovely family that were down on the beach that let George play with their buckets and spade and build sandcastles with them. It was really nice having a chat with them. Anyway, thank you for that.